Hey everyone, welcome to a new video. Today we're going to talk about a fascinating topic. We will see the evolution of women's role throughout history. First of all, we're going to focus on women's role during Vikings time. Then, we're going to have a look at the difficult circumstances that women had to face in the medieval time. And finally, we're going to focus on the Renaissance period and the changes that brought with it for women. Likewise, we're going to discuss how women's role in literature influences the way in which women are perceived in societies.
Indeed, in the ancient times, women's role wasn't as noticeable as men's role. To begin with, Vikings' time, women were the role of women in the Anglo-Saxon epic Beowulf woman in all English literature had been presented as a problematic element due to the marked contradiction regarding the representation between the literary and historical. So, in Beowulf, they are not simple decorative elements or passive figures trapped in the epic world, so merely masculine. The figure of queen, that the queen is not a passive character, but a character with a social activity within the community space. About women, the action of these female figures is raised in their capacities as characters that foster diplomatic relations between male authority figures and see that historical social context, since the social role that the queens will play in society, where they will be located with regarding authority, and if that historical or real role will correspond to the representation that they have in epic role, or if we are facing stereotypes that were fixed in the culture. Another thing, in Beowulf, it can be seen the only figure that mediates between the violence of the warriors in the queen, since she has the capacities and characteristics of a social diplomatic role for the society. Also, the queen, as the woman of the time, participates in the violent part of the heroic ethic and has a very important diplomatic role that goes beyond her reproductive condition. It's her role within the social space that makes it possible to ensure the hierarchical stability of the community through the representation of hierarchical difference and maintain royal blood lineage.
On the other hand, the medieval time was a hard period, especially for women, since they were perceived as inferior to men. Bearing in mind that according to scriptures were women the ones that led men into sin. Consequently, they were blamed for this, and therefore society acquired a wrong idea of what the role of women should be.
Now, moving from the medieval time, a few years ahead, it is the Renaissance, a movement in which humanism appeared, so religion was put aside, societies became anthropocentric, and nature gained strength. For that reason appeared books such as Hamlet, Macbeth, and There to Faustus, where each one shows the new changes that the society was facing at the time. Well, in the Renaissance, we are going to find the human being as a center of the universe. That's why the love is seen as deep, melancholic, and sad. People are exploring new ways to feel and trying to understand that faith in terms of religion that is a part of the path. So that the knowledge is not just for the erudite people, but cares about the rest of them. Taking into account the woman there, she is seen as a perfect or ideal woman. The aesthetic or the physical appearance were extremely important because beauty allowed one to have social status. So the role of women did not have many changes as before. The woman continued to be submissive without much public knowledge and were performed outside the home. However, some Kurdi women revolutionized the way she was seen. They started to work as a prostitute, which allowed them to have freedom economic and sexual. For that reason, many of them were writers, poets, and actresses, which contribute a high change to women. Sophonis Bangisola is a good example of that. She is considered as the first successful female painter in the Renaissance, developing the self-portrait and reaching important men such as King II of Spain. Another one is Caterina Forza, who had political power, creating a small military army to defend their town. To sum up this little historical tour about the role of women, the woman always had half power in the society. Nevertheless, the politics and the ideologies in each time imposed by men did not allow that women stood out in the world. For the reason, it took a long time to see reflected on the society a true change.